Hey there! Are you a crime scene investigator, law enforcement officer, or forensic scientist looking for a Facebook community that understands you? Check out Taction USA's forensic product groups. You'll find blogs, articles, information, and community. For those of us in the investigative field, there are not many lines of support out there, but Taction USA is a company that was founded by law enforcement for law enforcement. Subscribe today to get access to exclusive content. Just look for Taction USA in Facebook groups.
Hello and welcome back to Crossing the Tape mini episode number 11. We've got a special new series beginning for you today to bring in the holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
What do we got?
I'm calling it the Apothecary Series.
Hello.
And it will be probably 3 to 4 episodes will be like this. But it is essentially the history of poisons.
Hello. Who doesn't love that?
Right.
Especially this time of year.
I know. It's the perfect time is what I figured. So today, we're going to go into the history of cyanide.
My favorite.
So I couldn't find a whole bunch of information regarding, how exactly it was determined it was fatal. Mm-hmm. There's probably no record of it because they didn't want there to be.
There was an obituary, but not much else.
But I did find some other interesting information. Mm-hmm. So, this particular poison was actually discovered when hydrogen cyanide was isolated from blue dye. And so the whole reason cyanide itself was discovered was because people wanted a different color blue.
And they didn't just mean how their face looked after they croaked.
This occurred in 1786. And in 1800, it was discovered that actually some of our foods have trace amounts. But they're so minute, like almonds and other things, there's other...
Yeah, I guess
other organic substances, but
ate many dozens of pounds of almonds, you might feel the effect.
But that would take a lot.
A handful of nuts,
no,
you're going to be fine.
No, I don't think they would sell them if it was actually
Unless
a concern.
You have a nut allergy, in which case,
don't.
Cyanide or not.
So the chemical compound of the poison is blue in color, as I mentioned, and there are tails. I could never find any specific information. It's very hard to find cyanide information.
Without getting on a watch list.
Right.
Too late.
Yeah. Well.
How to kill... Wait.
No. So there are tales of a painter in the 1800s who was known to experiment with different substances for his paint.
Oh, like LSD for the inspiration.
No, I think they mean like dyes.
like his actual paints.
Snails can be purple.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's how they used to dye purple. Well, that's another episode.
They would just wipe a snail on your garments?
It's a bit different.
Huh.
But he would experiment with different substances, and he stumbled upon cyanide because of its brilliant blue color. Which that's kind of worrisome that my favorite color is brilliant blue. But it's also found in other things such as algae and fungi and other substances.
Which we know can make you sick.
Right. So as far as fatal exposure goes, again, I couldn't find much, but according to the Toxic Exposure Surveillance System, there were over 3,000 people exposed to cyanide from 1993 to 2002, and of those exposed, less than 3% were actually fatal. So again, that kind of goes to, there's probably a lot of things we eat that have trace amounts, but they're not anything lethal. So the effects of the poison are awful.
It also means that people are, if someone's trying to poison someone, they're choosing
to go slow.
the wrong, would you say 6%? Less than 6% were fatal?
3%.
3%. Half.
Yeah.
So, not many successful, how do you get rid of your spouse kind of thing.
Right.
Don't use cyanide or anything.
No, don't do that. Don't commit murder.
Mm-mm.
The effects of the poison are awful and severe, and they usually affect just about the whole body, and I think the effects are kind of from the inside out. Your insides start messing up and shutting down.
Right.
And of course, cyanide poisoning may be cured if it is caught early on and it's small doses. There's been many murder cases where people have been dosed slightly with cyanide and they've caught on to, I get sick every time I eat this or eat
It's
that,
weird.
or
Every
when
time
so-and-so cooks for me.
Every time I smell antifreeze.
And then, but they're able to recover. But cyanide, it is traceable. And of course, those that are fatal, those deaths that they actually died from the poisoning, the body smells like almonds.
Mm-hmm.
Because of, and that's why it's so overwhelming that it was fatal.
Right.
But
there's enough of a buildup that it turned you into an almond tree. Right.
But it's interesting to me that the discovery of it originated from art. And then,
a desire for a bright new color.
Yeah.
And now.
And unfortunately, there's other things found with it. But it is a bit of interesting history for you.
Yes. And with, like you say, people catching on that they're being poisoned, even if it is fatal, it's still, it's traceable. It's not like...
Oh, no, it comes up in toxicology
some
reports.
rare, untraceable poison from deep in the African jungles.
No, it's extremely traceable, actually. And I should have looked that up. I should have looked up the statistic for how traceable it is, but it is.
And then the killer is only one search warrant away from...
That's
weird.
Those are like slam dunk cases, too.
Yeah, your husband or wife, boyfriend, whatever, mortal enemy, they died, and you've got, all your dishes in the kitchen have trace amounts of cyanide. Yeah. So it's bad, but
it is bad.
It's definitely not like, the perfect crime.
No.
Cyanide poison.
By far, no.
You're shooting yourself in the foot and poisoning the other person.
Yeah, so... But anyhow, I thought it was interesting based on the color aspect.
Yeah, that people start messing with chemicals for different reasons.
Now, I never found out what happened to that painter.
He didn't get around to writing an autobiography.
I bet his paintings were beautiful.
Yeah,
They're
all
probably
blue.
My favorite shade.
He fell very ill.
I couldn't even find his name because it was somewhat of a legend, but it is known that cyanide was discovered by somebody because of the color.
Right, mixing paints.
Yeah.
Trying to make a brighter shade of blue. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, that's scary to think about. You get an idea to make something one day and you accidentally put two chemicals together that can't mix and...
Well, yeah.
I mean, hey, that's how they came up with mustard gas.
True.
Never smoke mustard. It's probably a little different. But don't give me no Grey Poupon. That's what I always say. We thank you for joining us today for a mini episode in the first of several parts in the Apothecary Series.
Yes.
Stay alive.
Yes.
And away from cyanide.
Yes.
Long enough for the next episode. And after that too.
Yeah. Stay safe.
So long.